Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilwoman Schott, would you please lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for entrusting us to be the stewards of our community. I ask that you bless all of our community with peace and prosperity. Please protect our fire department, our police department, and our other employees as they perform their duties. And Lord, please keep Councilperson Fair in your hands and work on healing his body. And we ask that you bless all members of our military, past and present. And we thank you for giving them the courage to serve. Thank you for the many blessings you've given us and keep us ever mindful of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. As you can see, Councilman Hartman and Councilman Fair are absent this evening.
Motion to excuse.
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
A motion for the minutes.
So moved.
My name is James, please.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Nobody. I will second.
Did you? George?
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Bills.
Motion for the bills.
Second.
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Out of the workers' time report. Did see one. Yep. Fireman's time.
Motion.
Is there one? Yeah, there's some. Second.
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Hey Deb, when you're ready, the floor is all yours.
I can pass this around. I received an invoice from the solicitor in the amount of $1,560. I'd like to encumber to pay him when we issue our first group of checks in April.
This for the solicitor. I'll second it.
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
I received last week the DJL contract, and this is the company that does the, provides us the material for the crack sealing. And it's at 92 cents for a pound, which covers the material and the equipment. I'm assuming you want to do that again this year, or
Yes.
do you want to vote on that?
Make a motion.
Second.
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Believe it or not, I got my first call, actually I think it was the second call, that came into the village regarding garage sale dates. Do you have any opinion on garage sale dates?
When were our garage sales last year?
September?
Was it the week after Labor Day?
I'm thinking it's the week after.
Well, and somebody suggested to me to do it when someone else is having theirs, because people are already out.
Yeah, someone close by.
Can we
Well-
find that out and bring it up to next meeting?
It was suggested by the person to do it when Strasburg does theirs. Instead of doing it when
Yeah, I mean,
you're in a bar.
Yeah, or, as long, yeah, I would agree, do it whenever somebody's got them going on, because you're gonna have more people out
They're
and
gonna be
about.
out and that was a
Okay.
constituent.
So we need to try to figure out, do you wanna see if
I
you
can
can
do that.
find out when Strasburg, Brewster, Navarre, all theirs are, and then we'll discuss it at the next meeting?
The new copier was received and has been installed. The only thing that we haven't done, we haven't set it up to do scanning. It will scan to a scan folder for us. We haven't set that up yet. And then I'm currently assisting Bill working on the fire grant for Ohio First Responders. That's it. Oh,
What about the resolution?
I forgot about that, so I didn't write it down. It'll be the second reading of resolution number 1903, a resolution declaring the necessity for an additional levy of a tax and requesting that the county auditor certify to the council certain information pursuant to the ORC 5705.03 for a 3 mil levy.
When does this have to be in by?
August the 19th or 9th, somewhere in
We
there.
have to have it filed in August for it to go on the actual levy.
Okay.
As soon as this one comes back, then we send in the one with the wording for the
ballot.
The ballot language, thank you for the voting. This has to go first to Stark County. They have to approve us to do this.
Yes.
Then we have the other one. The other one has to be passed in their hands in August.
In August.
Yeah, so.
Well, there's still time to do 3.
You've already
Well,
done one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second
This is
one.
the second
Two,
reading.
yeah.
Pass it next time.
Okay.
Debbie, have we got any billing from the Ohio River on our electric bill? Did we ever get the $1,000 billing? On
Oh,
our-
you know what, I didn't check last month. I was so busy separating the amounts for JV5, because they changed their billing again on me. I didn't look.
Whenever you get time, let's see if they finally billed us. We'll never get it paid off if they don't do it.
Yeah, we told them how long ago to,
And it's a second reading of ordinance 1904, a resolution modifying rates for the Ohio Billing Incorporated's invoicing for non-residential emergency medical service calls. Changing resolution number 0001 passed May 1st of 2000. This is for the increase of the rates for the EMS runs. For your second reading.
now you're done.
I'm done, thank you.
Very good. Anybody here tonight other than a couple police or police chief and a fire chief? Chief Anderson, would you like to go first?
Sure, I just got a few things. Calls year to date is 57. As of the same date last year, we ran 59 calls. Debbie's on top of it. We've already taken care of a lot of it. Saturday, we had our quarter auction. We pulled our trucks out. When we went to back everything back in, tanker 133 would not start. We did everything we know to do with it. Couldn't get it to start. We actually pulled it back into the building with an F-250 from one of our members to get it back inside. Monday morning, we waited, so we didn't pay an emergency call on it. We had Reed's tow it to International. That was, I would say, about $455 bill. Unfortunately, they got it in Wednesday, and they called, and the ECM is out of the tanker. $1,500 part. They were overnighting it Thursday. I know today Dan McDonald had talked to them. They're in progress of programming it. I don't know what it's going to be labor, but it's not going to be cheap, but we got to have it. I mean, we've been without it since Saturday now, so but we're all over it. Hopefully, I'm hoping to have it back in service here within the next couple of days, pending they don't have any problems programming that new ECM into it. So
What actually happened to this? Now you pulled it out.
pulled it out,
And that won't restart.
ran fine, shut it off. It sat outside for 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever the auction was, went to start, it wouldn't start. We did everything. It threw a check electrical system code. When we went to start it, we undid the batteries, we did everything we know to do, and it wouldn't start. And we even pulled it in, like I said, with an F-250, get it back inside that night. And then thought maybe after sat inside, got warmed back up, maybe, and yeah, nothing. And sure as crap, we towed it down there, and it's the ECMs out of it. Weirdest thing, Brewster's tanker, just last year, the year before, same thing. They went to run it on a fire one day, went to start, had to tow it, same exact thing. Now they have a Freightliner, we have an International, but then the problem they ran into, and I'm gonna pray to God it don't happen to us, once they put a new ECM in their Freightliner, none of the fire truck part of the truck would work after that. It totally eliminated, the Freightliner would run, but their pump would not pump. They used it as a water wagon for months, just until Freightliner could figure out what the heck was going on. They had to get a hold of S&S and work back and forth with the fire apparatus manufacturer. And I hope to God, I shouldn't even have brought that up, but I hope to God we don't have that problem. So that'll be the first thing we check before we bring her home, is if it's going to pump some water. So, and it's just off of experience, unfortunately, that Calusi had up at Brewster. So hopefully by the end of the week we'll have it back in service. And unfortunately, like I said, it's going to be a hefty bill. So the other
Thankfully,
thing
it happened at a time where it wasn't an emergency situation.
Right, and that is a good thing, and as of right now, I do have it in place where if we do get a fire in the township, Erie Valley is going to should be automatically towed with us. If they're not, I'll make sure and our officers know to get a tanker coming right away. So, and we still have 2 in the township. We have one that'll be coming from Wilmot, one coming from Brewster. So, I mean, we're hurting, don't get me wrong, we're hurting, but we'll keep our people covered. So, hopefully by the end of the week. The other thing I want to bring up is going back to the Ohio First Responders grant writers. You guys remember I was going to ask the association to pay half of that bill, and you guys pay half that bill. Now, I talked to Mikey the other day. The association will officially approve this tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be any problem whatsoever. I've talked to most of our guys, but we have not sat down in a meeting as of yet. But like I said, I don't think it'll be a problem. Well, after talking to Mike, if you remember, I told you guys we were going to scrap the idea of replacing that compressor because he wanted $2,500 to write the first grant and $15,000 for the other. I told him there's no way we can afford $4,000. Mikey said he's here to help us. He's not here to hurt us. He said, what if I write both of them for $3,000? I told him to go ahead because I can't see not writing both for an extra $500. It's going to be an extra $250 on each of us if we still split half, but it's $250, and it could eliminate all of our problems rather than keeping a broken compressor that's doing us no good. So if there's a problem with going the extra $250, I will ask the association to go the extra $500, but I couldn't see not writing it when he was going to cut us the deal, and that's actually the contract that we had signed, because like I said, either way, I'll make it right, whatever we got to do to make it right. But it'll actually be an extra $250 on each of us because it'll be $1,500 a piece instead of the $1,250.
That's why we can be lucky that we're putting that levy up, because there's something that happens all the time.
Well, and that's what I said. The tanker was something that was totally off the wall. We had no idea. That tanker just went for service and everything was fine. But obviously they're not going to know the computer's going out of it. So, yeah, and the quicker we can get stuff and get everything in line and start making pamphlets and pushing and explaining to people, because like I said, I've already read a few nonsense comments on Facebook that, you know, I understand we're not under a water contract, but that has nothing to do with fire and EMS. You know, fire and EMS hasn't asked for any money for 20 years. I get it. We just passed the police levy. I understand we're working with Canton Water, but we need to worry about fire and EMS. We got to be able to keep going over there, and we need to explain this to our residents, because some just don't understand or don't care to understand or whatever. So,
If you don't do it, you're going to be like the churches in town.
you know, we're going to do our best to get it passed through. So, other than that, that's all I got. I was looking for an update on the letters. Did they go out to our members? I know I got a copy of
I filled
them.
them all out. They're all
Okay.
filled out. Deb's just got to put the. I didn't have their addresses.
Now, I will say you do not have to send one to Mr. Wood. Mr. Wood turned in his equipment. He did not give me a resignation. He gave me a verbal resignation. but he did turn in his pager. The only thing he still has is a key, and I'll make sure I get that back from him.
So I don't need his?
You don't need one for Wood. And Parrott, the same way. Parrott, the only thing he has left now is a key. He is also done. As far as the other 5, I haven't heard a word officially. They told me they're gonna resign, some of them, but I have not got any equipment off of them. So I'm assuming you would wanna go ahead and go with the letters on them 5, so.
Is he gonna still write out a written one?
Officer Wood?
Yeah.
I can ask him. He just turned his equipment in that day and gave me a verbal resignation, and I mean, if you want a
You
written
think that's a
one,
good
we'll.
idea, Steve?
Written resignation?
Yes.
If at all possible, then council can accept it at a public meeting.
That's fine. I'll try. And like I said, some people, I never do get a written resignation, and we finally just put it down as a verbal. And I mean, in my opinion, as long as we have our equipment back and they agreed voluntarily to go, then, I mean, if they'll write it, I'll try.
Right.
If they won't, then we'll see what we can do. But that's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Did we make a motion to accept the resignation, from everybody? Did we do that before? The ones that
They haven't
start-
resigned. You agreed to have me write these
Letters, okay.
that we're gonna send out.
So the thing is, he's got a verbal agreement, are we gonna wait?
Wait and
to get a
see if
written
he can
one?
get the written one.
Well,
Okay.
normally what we do on a resignation is I don't even bring it across for 3 months. We read it just like you guys do resolutions. We reread it 3 times at our meetings. We do a first reading, second reading, and then the third reading, we accept it. In this case, I don't know that we'll do that, simply because they haven't been around anyway. So tomorrow, I'll bring up, and we'll see what the body, as far as the association wants to do. But once they're off the association, they're no longer on the fire department either, or vice versa, you know. So.
Well, if you can't get a written one, just bring it back in so we can vote.
Yep, I will talk to him again. I gotta get with him on the key, and I'll let you know.
Very good, thank you. Chief Gate, do you have anything for us tonight?
I got a couple things.
You told me you wasn't gonna have none.
Not a lot. First of all, thank you everyone for the flowers and the little statue for my daughter. Last Friday, she had a baby girl. Everything went great. Mom's good, baby's good, and I'm tired. So everything's doing good there. I'm going to one of our silver car, the 08 blew a head gasket. I believe it's the left side head gasket's blown, according to my house, or who knows about cars, because I know nothing about cars. My suggestion is that we scrap the car. It's old, got a lot of problems with it, and we'll be getting a different vehicle. However, if you guys want me to tow it somewhere and get some estimates, that's fine, but the motor's blown. So there's something to think about. Like I said, it's out of service. We still have the SUV and then Wilmot's cars that we're able to use. So we can figure out a plan there. And then I have a retirement to read, and I need a motion as long as legally we can do it. So with an exception that it is legal, and I believe it is. But effective March 25th, 19, I hereby retire from the Beach City Police Department. I will be in sometime this week to drop off my radio, cell phone, computer, and keys, along with my issue badge, and clean up my office. Please contact Bonnie's Engravery to get my retired police ID card as soon as possible. Please contact me when my vest arrives so I can pick it up. Thank you, Andrew Wood. So, I believe he can retire, but I'd like to accept it, accept his retirement with the condition as long as legally he can do it. But I believe he's legally able to. He's got his 10 years in, which is what I was reading with the research I did today.
Was his time 10 years? How long, when did he come on?
It'd be a collective of 10 years, so he's worked with other agencies and he's definitely got his 10 years.
See, they moved them up, some of them, I didn't know if they did fire, police department, but, some of the regular ones are up to 20 years right now. Or do we need to find that out for sure?
I don't care what he does with birds, that's none of my business. All that I care about is if he's going to retire from here.
So, retiring from the police department, I don't see why,
I mean,
I don't see anything wrong with it.
he fills his documents out with PERS, they deal with him. And if they believe he's if he's,
Qualified.
thank you, eligible or qualified to draw any retirement, they will deal with him. All they will ask me for is when he left our employment, which would be 3/25. That's all I care about.
So the rest of it's between him
It's
and.
between him and them. I don't do anything with them.
So we've already taken it out and gave them, so they got the information on it.
Sure, he pays PERS like the rest of our
Like what we all do.
So
Correct.
he's already gone.
See, mine was at 5 years. I was, that's what it was back then. Now it's up to 15 to 20 years. I didn't know. So what, do you want us to vote on this?
Maybe
For his
accept-
retirement?
Accept his retirement.
Yeah, I would just, I mean, I think Deb's right on. It's, you can accept the resignation and retirement subject to state and federal law to the extent it qualifies. But I think he's resigning and then he deals with PERS, everybody
Yeah.
else.
All he's putting his thing is that I hereby retire, so I mean, I guess that's considered a
And you're gonna,
resignation too, so.
you got all his stuff then?
Not yet, he's gonna get it to me this week, but as soon as you accept it, he will no longer have access to the police department, so.
I'll make the motion.
We have some kind of contingency if he doesn't turn his stuff in, which I thought he did.
I mean, like the badge and stuff like that, I mean, we can go worst case scenario on it, but I can always send the letter saying, look, you need to give this to us, but I mean, I
I'm
don't see.
talking about the other kind, does he have any other equipment?
The only equipment that I'm aware of since I started here was his badge, vest, computer, and cell phone. His ID, which I can.
Now, did you mention, does he get a kind of an ID for being a police officer? Did I pretty mention that?
He has police ID, so I need to get that back from him too.
Okay, they don't get a retirement.
He will get a retirement ID, that's what
Okay,
I was looking
okay.
at, yes. He will get that.
I thought he did.
And he's requesting that we order one, but I'll
And-
order it, but that doesn't mean we're gonna pay for it, like they're like $3, so either way, I'm not.
And you're gonna explain to him that we can accept the resignation and retirement, but he has to fill out his own retirement papers with Oprah's.
No, he's already done it.
First. Okay.
Yeah,
I have a motion by Bailey, second by McKinney. Bennett?
Yes.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
I'd like to thank him for his years of service and wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. But other than that, and then I need.
Wait, let me do that if you're gonna do that. Let me make a motion to thank him for his years of service then.
Okay.
Well, he did, and I just wrote it down. So it'll go in underneath where.
Okay, I thought maybe you needed to vote on it.
On the record that I thank him for all his
Okay.
years of service and wish him the best.
Good enough.
As do we.
So, and then I need an executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Make a motion,
Second.
executive session for pending.
Bennett? McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Make a motion, come back and executive meeting with no action taken.
Second.
Bennett? Yes. McKinney?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Do you have anything else tonight, Chief Gay?
Just, do you guys wanna do anything about that cruiser? What do you want me to do? Other than that, I have nothing.
Did you say the engine blew because of this? Is that what you
The
said?
head gasket, the head gasket is the one I had in my house.
Coolant in the oil.
And the head gasket is usually 10 hours at least of just
It's
labor.
a 302 left side. I don't think it's worth putting the time to tow it and get the estimate and what time we're gonna have to pay them for the estimate to fix it. The car, I don't think it's worth fixing. That's my personal opinion, but I'm not a mechanic.
Are the tires better on it than they are on any of the other ones? Can we switch the
So
tires?
the tires, we had that anonymous donation
Yeah.
earlier through this year. We'll take everything off the car, but whatever you guys want me to do with it, you guys can make a motion now. You just let me know. We don't, it's hard. So, I mean, just let me know what you want me to do.
Why don't you just, till the next meeting, see what they would actually, what it would cost us to if it's there.
You gotta pay to have it towed somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to pay somebody
Oh, no,
to
wait a second.
diagnose.
So,
diagnose it.
I didn't know.
The
think that.
search that I did, and this is me not knowing anything because I'm a police officer, not a mechanic, is it's somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 to get it replaced.
Why don't you price a rebuilt motor vehicle within it?
I don't think the car's worth it. I honestly don't, but I'll do it if you want me to. I really don't think the car's worth it. It's a 2008, has close to 150,000 miles on it, and that's not including idle time.
And you still owe on the other one yet?
Just
One
a
more
August.
payment. Yeah, what do we
So,
pay
I
every
would-
6 months?
I would start looking at getting another cruiser. So we got enough cars that will last us until that one's paid off, but I would.
Well, then if you're gonna do that, why don't you check with the state just to see what a car would be? He said you don't want another SUV. Just check what they get.
And I will, and speaking of the SUV, I did make a call to, some tire places, and we do not have to put those receipt rated tires on it, so we can get a different tire on it, that's not gonna cost us, I think it's $10 more than what we were paying, because we're not gonna raise the state pricing on it, it's like $10 a tire more.
But it'll last
It'll last
longer.
us, it'll pay for itself, so.
Well, everything has to do better than what they've been getting.
Those Pursuit rated tires are very soft rubber, and they're meant for grabbing
Traction.
and going.
Do you think that's okay to go ahead and see what actually the state does for a car? If we end up having to do it down the line. We can do anything you want to, let me know.
I'll do anything you guys ask me to do. That's my recommendation, not knowing anything, but that's what I would recommend.
Why don't we shelve that till the next meeting?
Yeah, we have time to think
And
about
then
it.
you can do some research and then you can
Okay.
That's good.
discuss it
Yeah.
next meeting.
Yeah, but it's definitely from my officer who tears apart cars and everything else, he says the left head gasket, he showed me and I could actually see what he was talking about, there's definitely a grease in the corner.
Yeah, that's not good.
With oil, and, so, yeah, but that's one thing I can think of, but the car's been eating oil since we bought the thing. And we constantly, the oil you guys just approved is because we always buy a case of oil to put in the car, and it's part of their daily routine, is to check the oil in the cruisers, and everyone knows that car eats oil. So it wasn't low on oil, all the fluids are fine, it's just, it's an old car.
And see, that gives us the SUV and your, blue car, right?
No, we have
Lomax.
The black and white, the black and the SUV.
So we'll need to do something soon because Wilmot's not gonna be happy with us constantly using their car, but we've at least got the SUV for each city to use.
Well, bring back some stuff, see what.
But I'll get some estimates, see what we.
Check with Beachy, just see what kind of price they got for that. One of the places.
Alright, sounds good. That's all I got, guys.
Thank you. Mr. Lambert, do you have anything for me this evening? Or for us?
Things. Chipping, TAR wants to have it April 10, 11, and 12, citywide.
Well, that's already been put out on Facebook.
Yeah, Steph did that. I'm gonna start getting some poles tested. I'm gonna set up in 3 steps. I'm gonna do the North Country line first, that's 331 poles. That'll tell us what the life cycle is still left in them. It's never been done before, but it's something we can, it helps us replace poles before they fall over. So I'm gonna start on that. And like I told you before, Bassett Cable TV wants to run fiber optics to the bank wants it, because they wanna tie in all their computers to one location, and they gotta have the fiber optics to do it. And I guess Spectrum don't have it.
Correct.
So Bassett.
Here.
So the bank went to them. If you want me to get the guys from Massive Cable TV in here and give you a speech on what they're gonna do, I can do that. What do you want me to do? Right now, you're talking maybe 25 poles I'll have to attach to to get from 93 to the bank of our poles. So whatever you decide to do, I
Well, we gotta decide what the contract says to make sure we don't get in no trouble.
Steve's checking that for us.
And why is it that we can't have that?
We can. Well,
He told me they overbuild Spectrum all the time. It's no big deal when they overbuild. It's just, I don't know how the contract reads.
Why?
Sorry.
the initial contract we had with Time Warner was gone.
Well,
That's over.
no, but when I first moved back to Beach City, we had Massive Cable in Beach City. and then it changed.
No, we didn't.
Honestly, I don't remember that.
We didn't have it.
I did. My one house up there on Main Street had it. I
No, you
swear we
didn't.
did.
I'm telling you, you did, because I owned the company, and we didn't have it.
So what do you want me to do about the bank?
But if you can prove it,
I
I'll
think the
apologize
bank,
to you.
if they need to run fiber optics, and you only how many poles?
I'm just
there?
estimating 25, I have to count each pole's gonna have to be counted because they're gonna pay us attachment fee.
Does
But I
anybody
got-
have,
Right now, their engineer is mapping out the route that they're gonna take to do this. Then he's getting back with me, and then that's when I need to tell him what you want me to tell him.
Personally, for the bank, I have no problem with them getting Maslin to run their wires to the bank. I have no problem with that. But then anything other than that, we can decide at a later date, but I'll make a motion that the bank be allowed to have Maslin cable run to the bank itself for the fiber optics that they
Okay,
make.
that's exactly what I'll tell him.
I won't vote on it until after, I'll go ahead, whatever you wanna do, but not till they come down here and we talk to them. Go ahead.
All the running is to the bank, that's it. Not to homes, to the bank. I make a motion that Maslin cable be allowed to run to the bank for their fiber optics.
Right. Bank owner.
I think we need to talk, listen to them too. I mean, I understand they're only going to bank, but I still would like to hear from them. I wanna know what the attachment fees are gonna be.
$7.40-something. I don't know exactly what the change is. Right now, they're attached to like 70 some of our poles. They're already attached to some of our poles.
It just makes me feel better to get all the information.
When did the bank want to have this done?
The way he talked there as soon as possible. But if they don't, I told him up front, I said, you know, it might be a week, it might be a month. I says, I don't know how long this will take. But once I get the plans, what they're gonna do, then I gotta go, get my guys to go out and make sure we get clearance, and then go from there. I mean, it's just don't happen that quick.
And besides that, we need an opinion from the lawyer.
Is it Maslin Cable or is it
Yeah.
Time Warner?
So that's Time Warner we got, that's who we got now.
Okay.
That's why I wanna know if there's anything in our contract that says that we can't let somebody else.
Okay, I think you're fine. I'll look through the entire agreement, obviously, but I would note initially, section 3 is the term, and the franchise only continues in full force and effect for a period of 5 years.
Did you bring the other contract that they had the poles, that when they said they were only gonna use the poles, they was not doing nothing in Beach City? Do you have that contract that you
No.
can give to the lawyer?
Like there's a contract, give me right there.
You're talking, okay, let's get this down right.
Okay.
You wanna see the copy of the contract between Maslin Cable TV and what Cindy bills them for their poles, correct? Maslin Cable does not service anybody in town.
What-
They go through town.
When we gave them, when we voted to let them do that, that was said to us. We're only coming through town, we are not connecting anybody.
That is correct.
Right?
That
Okay.
is correct. Now, they've been asked by the bank to service them with fiber optics because Spectrum, thank you, cable, Spectrum cannot do that, or won't do it.
Somebody had, I never heard this.
So, what they wanna do is come up Water Street
Yeah,
and go all the poles and do another connection fee for fiber optic line to the bank.
That wasn't told to me. Nobody said what you just said.
what did I tell you?
You said they were gonna connect to them.
To the bank.
To the bank, I
To
told
the
you they
bank.
wanted to the
Fiber
bank.
optics, but he didn't explain.
Did
pole-
not explain to me that Spectrum could not take care of them.
Yeah.
That was not told to Oh, right now.
No, he did
No,
say
he
it.
did say it.
He did say it.
I heard it.
Yeah, he did.
That's all right, that's all right.
I mean, I never heard it.
Yeah, see, Spectrum can't do
Donnie
it.
did say
Okay.
it.
'Cause we actually talked about that whenever we went to the phone, that new phone system. Because we found out we didn't have enough internet. So we had to take what Spectrum was offering, which was not fiber optics, but we had to take, that's why we had to get, now there's a bill for the different.
If it was told, I missed that until she explained it.
Yeah, see, all they're doing is just taking another line and taking it from 93 up water and however they're gonna circle, they're gonna design it to the bank. And the bank's gonna connect all their
The
computers.
Spectrum could not handle it.
No, they.
So that's the reason they're coming in.
Fiber optics is one of the things that Maslin Cable sells, and they are doing the entire village of Navarre. All of Navarre will be fiber optics for their buildings, their police department, all their cameras, everything's fiber optics in Navarre when it's done. But Maslin Cable is already in Navarre. Spectrum is not, so
I
that's
know
what,
that.
yes, that's how.
It's not that Spectrum can't, it's that Spectrum won't.
Hey kid, now, when you got a company that does this to you, you can do it.
It's
to somebody
probably
else.
not beneficial for them to bring fiber optics into Beach
I mean,
City.
they're a big company.
It's probably
Okay.
what it boils down to.
And the contract that Stephen has is if they're coming through Beach City now, Maslin Cable, and we have a contract with Spectrum for franchise, we get 5%, I believe, of everybody's bill that you pay comes back to me to our general fund.
We did that when I owned the company, I know.
Okay? But somewhere in the law, when Connie was here, it was read that there's certain things that a company can't reach into another person's territory unless they default on different areas. And every time she called Maslin Cable, they couldn't come in and take over Spectrum's area. But I don't know where in the contract that talks about that. Whether it's one that refers to a revised code contract.
That's why they had trouble with Brewster. Master Cable took over that after we'd sold it to somebody else. And they had to find that out.
Yeah, I'll look at it obviously more closely, but there is a clause that says that if you grant an additional franchise, providing the similar services as this one, then it has to be in the same territorial area. And it has to be on terms and conditions that are not more or less favorable or more or less burdensome than what you've done for Time Warner here. So you couldn't give a better deal to another provider, as I read this.
And seeing as how this is for fiber optics, which is not available down here due to Spectrum not wanting it down here, you're not really offering them something that Spectrum can
Could
offer
some-
them or would offer
Could
them.
somebody talk to, did anybody talk to Spectrum? I don't know. Did you say they did, or can you check?
I
Are you
could,
sure?
yeah, I could try to find someone that I could talk to there.
What do you wanna know?
Yeah,
I
we wanna
wanna know whether it's legal for them to do it. If it is, it's okay with me.
Do what?
Just what he read right there.
Well, he's reading the actual contract where they're selling the cable service to our residents, not poll contracts. This, what he's reading, has to do with the sale.
All I care about is legal.
Of video and services to our residents.
And Spectrum, would they be an option that they might come up with? I don't know. We haven't talked to nobody.
At this time, I think Pat had talked to Spectrum.
Yeah, they cannot get fiber optics, but does your cable run off of fiber optics? Your cable?
It can, yeah.
You put all new cable in and you got fiber optics. It costs a lot of money to put it in.
Like AT&T Uber is fiber optic.
As long as we're legal, Steve, I don't care.
Okay.
Well, let's table it for this meeting until we get some more information.
You may tell them to come down, or?
Not
Wait
right
and see
now.
what Steve says.
Oh, I don't mind them coming down.
Yeah, no,
I like to listen.
Yeah.
But are you holding up them doing their engineering to get to the bank?
Yes.
Is that was the purpose you wanted them to
Well,
come?
no, they
to?
can,
I wanna know what they're
they can
doing.
go ahead and do the engineering. All they're doing is writing it
just
on
can't-
paper.
okay, they
Then
can't.
I gotta look at it and okay it for our poles, so that's no big deal, I just don't okay it.
And once Steve looks at this and everything's okay, there ain't no problem.
Okay.
Fair enough. At least by me it is. You're the council.
You're gonna take that off the books,
I make a motion to take my motion off.
Motion to withdraw motion.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. That's it.
No, I'm not even going there, you're not doing that to me. No, there's a line through it. I'm
How
just
long are they
wondering.
gonna take for the signs out front? Quite a while?
He didn't say, he just took them and got them.
I seen they got a temporary one out
I
there.
was shocked when I saw that, I thought, man, I hope that's.
Where did
not
that
what
sign
it
come
is.
from?
It's the same thing.
I
I thought-
hope that's temporary.
Hey, where did that come from?
Well, I'm assuming the people that took the sign put it
Yeah,
there
he
so
put
that
that.
it would,
Probably marked
so you
it.
would know that it's Village
I thought,
Hall.
I can't remember ever seeing the sign.
No, it
That's
wasn't
not
there.
much for 600 something.
They did take the lights out, did they say anything about the light that was in front of the sign?
It's shot, you gotta order one.
Okay,
He got the
Thank you.
paperwork today to order 6 of them, because he's replacing other areas.
Need 2 for the cemetery, 1 for here, so we've got some coming.
that's good.
Good deal. Thank you, Don. Stephen, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just a quick update on the property that is being acquired. There was a evaluation hearing on March 28th. I don't know what the outcome of that was. That was just, what, last Friday? Yeah, so I don't know the outcome of that. I should have it for the next meeting, but everything's progressing on that. There's some service issues, but it looks like we did publication. So we should be set on it, and I should have more news at the next meeting. Other than that, I don't have it.
How long do they go, Steve, till they actually come out with a final on the whole thing? Is there more processes they gotta do?
No, it's in court now. So the bulk of it is done. Once they get service on them, they have the hearing, and then a final order will issue that says it's to be transferred, and then that gets recorded, and then the property's been transferred. If there's other things like the demolition or things like that where there's other money available, that's another application procedure and all of that.
If we would ever decide to get rid of that plus the woods down the line, who knows? Are we still able to be able to advertise it for sale and something like that? Is there any problem?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you'd be able to sell it or dispose of it as you see fit, as long as it could be justified as a public purpose.
Okay.
I have one thing.
Okay.
Talking about demolition, there in Donnie may know, there's a mobile home in behind, going north on 93, in between like Bishops and.
Oh, up there on that
On the
hill.
hill.
What the heck happened
And
to
the
that?
gentleman passed away, you know where I'm at? It's,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
that guy, he passed away. Do we know what happened to that?
Looks
No,
like
I
a
don't
tornado
know.
hit it.
Huh?
It looks like a tornado hit it.
Oh, I don't know.
It's flattened, and I didn't know if it was that storm did it, or if maybe someone went in and tore all the metal out of it.
Yeah,
And,
he had family, so maybe they're,
I had talked to some part of that family that they actually owned it, and I know who owned it before that. Because the people in the house down below that died, the woman, the brick house,
yeah.
that was part of their property when it started.
I noticed it the other day. I went to go to Brewster. I was like, holy smokes. That's what I wondered too. Did the storm do it, or was there an
Now I gotta go
explosion?
look
or-
at it.
Where's this at?
Right down past my house and past Deb's house. Right as you start down the little dip there, there's a ranch that sits right on the down below, and there's a trailer up on the hill. What's left of it?
Second place on the left-hand side after the one that sits at the last house. Come backwards.
Yeah, right before the
There's
last
a trailer
house.
sitting up
There's like an
there.
out. There was a street that runs it over through there, a driveway.
Wilson's is a brick house, and they're both passed
That's
away.
right.
So I don't know if next to Wilson's or the next little ranch, but it goes back up that pit, yeah.
It always had old cars, and stuff sitting up there.
That was part of Wilson's
And man,
property
now
at
it
one
just
time.
looks like a bomb went off.
I didn't know that.
I mean, it's like somebody just opened it up and
And
there's
it just floated
insulation
down.
laying there and
I'm sorry, it's the third place back, because I forgot about the other house down there.
I'll have to go look at it.
We could probably find out who owns the property and
Well, they must be cleaning it up. I mean, I don't imagine they're gonna leave it like that.
for some reason I talked to some of the relations, but I can't remember what they said they was doing.
Anybody got anything else we need to talk about tonight?
Yes. I would like to thank everybody for the well wishes when I was having surgery. I appreciate it very much.
We was praying. And
So
you
was
sound
I.
better. You don't look any better, but you sound better.
You can't improve on perfection.
No.
I have a couple of questions. Do we have public hearings on our fire levy? Do you have public hearings on fire levy?
Public hearings
Yeah,
on a fire levy.
yeah. Do you do that?
I have no idea. What would the public, what would it be for?
To, kind of let the public know why we need a levy?
Oh, okay, I follow you now. I follow you now. I don't know if they do that or not. When was, I don't even remember the last
They've
levy
never
that was
done,
done.
they've never done a public hearing for a fire levy. They did
Nope.
one public hearing and it did not go well.
It went bad.
Did it go kind of like the electrical here?
Yeah, it was for electric and it did not go well at all. Because it went from the subject to bickering and fighting about all kinds of things.
We had the cops there and everything else.
Yes.
I wonder if Bill would be if Chief Anderson would be interested in that.
But the reason why I asked is, I came through the bar and they had a sign up at their village thing, sign in. And it said public meeting for, I think it was fire levy.
No, it was income tax.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of different than a levy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably a good idea if you get people that, how do I wanna put
If
this?
you could get people in there and have a thing to explain it,
In a civil manner.
well, just
without-
explain it without everybody running screaming at the people that are
Right.
talking about it.
And it won't happen.
No.
It would be nice if you could educate the voters as to why it is needed. I agree.
Yes.
I kind of, I realize there is, drawback to having those public meetings, but with all the undercurrent, in town with the computer comments and all that stuff, somewhere we have to start working at getting our people on the same level as that council.
So, can I interject real quick?
Sure.
My only thoughts from what I've been told, and this is only stories that I've been told from the last time we had a public meeting, I think it's a great idea, but for my department as police chief, I will not let it get to that extent, and I will shut the meeting down if it gets to that point again, but other than that, I think it's a great idea.
It'd be better than, say, her or I or any of us being approached by somebody that's negative.
Right, get
and
everybody
catch
together
off
that's
guard
interested in it and wants to learn. I would not be against it.
I'm for it too, but I'm all for having a meeting to explain that to the residents. But we also have, what this young lady back here is doing, and she's putting it on, it goes on, what is that, Facebook.
YouTube and,
And everything that comes up in this meeting goes on the Facebook and YouTube or whatever it is. So we are letting them know. And I'm sure the fire chief also let them know why on a couple of different meetings. But I'm all for having one of these meetings for the explanation of the,
do you want me to get in contact with Bill and see if he would be interested in,
having a public
having a
forum.
public forum?
I would have to tell Bill no, and I'll tell you, after being at that meeting over there that night, and how bad that ended up at.
That was
Yeah.
about annexation though, wasn't it?
I know, but we had people, well, they brought up everything.
Well,
They were against everything.
that's where you have to control your meeting.
That's what-
They were yelling.
Well,
You couldn't,
Then they get
then
removed. from
somebody
the-
didn't control the meeting.
Get asked to leave.
well, they
We
tried.
would make sure that we stuck to the topic we was there for, and it would not get to that point.
I would let Bill, ask Bill what he thinks, but they did such a good job to promote their levies whenever they do it themselves, through the fire department. They do a pretty good job.
I know
Now,
that
if
they
Gene
do
was here, I'd
pamphlets
like
and
to hear
stuff.
what Gene said, because people throw that out to him all the time, how bad all this is. He said, why don't you come down and run for the job, if you can do better?
That's never gonna happen. It takes too much effort. It's easier to be a part of the problem than a part of the solution.
Well, and I can also guarantee you that the only people who listen to that and watch it are those people.
But yeah, let me talk to Bill
If
and,
they wanted me for a 3-hour meeting, they would come.
you know, if we could, I can't see how it would hurt. I wasn't at the last meeting, but even if I was, I wouldn't judge it by that meeting. Because
It's a
you
different
just can't,
topic.
yeah, and whoever's in charge of it, whether
had
it
them out
be
the
me or
back door
Bill,
screaming.
we would,
I'll put it this way, if you have a public meeting, it's not under my criteria to be there and record it and do it, I won't be there. I just, that's something that you better have all your ducks in a row, have all your answers there, from your accounting to your services and your runs, because if you don't, they're gonna back you in the corner.
oh yeah, you would have to have you would have to know the questions they're gonna ask and have the answers ready.
Cause you six couldn't do it. You could not do it.
No, the information would have to come from the fire department.
Yeah.
And if you have, a paper with all that information on it, that it gets to a place that they can't move on, then they can just say.
They
well,
will,
We had the
Hazel.
papers, they had the papers to, say, well, paper here.
Let me talk to Bill, see what his feelings are.
I really think we need to work. And I hear all the negatives.
We can't
but-
even give them into a council meeting, and that's what Gene would like to do. If you got a complaint, come on down here, so we can hear it. There's a lot of people come in here, I don't agree on Gary Finger's stuff, some of it. But he says it all.
He has a right to.
That's right.
I don't have a problem with it at all. And I think we have a right, an obligation to, if the demand is there by our residents, to get them information, and something as important as a safety levy. I think if you just throw it off the table and say it didn't work last time, I think you're doing a disservice to the residents, in my opinion.
I'll sit here and listen.
We got
But
that.
like Deb said, they gotta have their ducks in a row. Because that's where things turn around, turn back the other way. That's probably what happened at the other meeting,
And that's gonna have to be the fire department.
yes.
I mean, that's,
They would have to do, yes,
they would have to
absolutely.
do the meeting, not
Yes,
us.
right.
And you got certain people that don't like anything, will stand up there and call you a liar, no matter whether you told them the truth or not.
So be it. You can't not do it for the other residents that deserve it just because of a few. That's just my opinion.
And like I heard somebody say, that meeting would be on us anyhow, it'd be on the fire department to put it out. Because they're asking for the increase.
Right.
So they would have to explain it, and they would have to have all that info.
Yeah, we don't have that info. We don't, yeah.
I don't know whether they do it since the last time they went door to door. They did a good job.
Well, let me talk to Bill and see what his opinion is, and I'll let you know at the next meeting.
That was a long time ago. I'm sorry, excuse me.
The other question is the building across the street. I heard it was up for sale, the city decided maybe to buy it?
Are you crazy? How am I gonna pay for that?
I don't know.
How are the residents? There is no way. I struggle month to month. You people are not reading your reports. You are not reading the cash I don't have on hand. You're not getting it. The cash flow is horrible. Now, she'll have good money coming in for the taxes, but it's gonna go out within 2 months, and it's gonna be back down that I'm struggling to get a black balance at the end of every month, let alone at the end of every year.
I did talk to somebody from the church today. The old church, they can go ahead and sell. Old Methodist church, okay? This one here has to be done by conference, which is down in Mount Vernon. My cousin used to be the head of that thing. But I talked to somebody at the church today, asked him about it. And he told me, he said, we're allowed to go ahead and sell the Old Methodist Church. And of course, part of the parsonage is on the property for the church. So they're gonna have to get that divided, that in the garage.
That's being surveyed now.
Yeah,
That's being done.
good, because I knew it was gonna be done.
That's being done.
And he told me the church can be sold down there. But this one has to go to the county.
But even if you bought it, or if they gave it to you for $1, how would you pay the maintenance? How would you pay for the utilities in it? The church can't afford it. How would the village afford it?
Realistically, we could.
Seriously, it would be a money pit. How would you afford it?
It'd be a burden. I mean, yeah, it'd be a cool idea, but
I don't,
it's just not feasible.
it's not feasible. I mean, we looked at it when it first came due and it was like,
So the parking lot's being sold. What time the old store's buying the parking lot?
I did joke around about it.
Yeah, you and I even talked about it, yeah.
I was joking
what did
around.
I tell you we would do with it? We would bring in the cops and have the dogs, hide the drugs, and hide the people that are bad, and let the dogs go find them. They used the school as training at one point in time. I think they used the churches for different types of
They
training.
just used the hospital the other day up the
Did they
back.
for
in
training? That's all, I mean, you don't have money for modeling, you don't have money for utilities, you don't have money,
It is gonna be sad to see it. I hope it don't end up in disrepair and,
yeah, it's
You
a
know,
shame.
it's a hell of a building, I'll tell you.
It is.
It needs a lot of stuff done, but it is a good building.
Yeah, it's, look at the Lutheran church, what would happen with that, Gus? Even though it's not as big and they've kept their maintenance up much more. There would be a price on that, and you still, I tried Dollar General, they contacted us one time, we didn't even know where to put it. At the time, the school was still down there, that wasn't available. But people think that we haven't tried, we have. We have been contacted and there's.
Do you have
there's
any other
no
ideas, Cecil?
road.
That, I was asking a question. I just had a question. It's evidently an antique historical site. And if it's gone, you know, if it goes, it's gone.
Well, it's like the house behind, it's even more,
Yeah,
much more than that.
about ready to fall down.
And we couldn't afford to buy that when it came due.
No, I bought it,
You
and they
sold it.
want me to give it to them.
Yeah.
Now, if the state antes up and buys it for us and agrees to remodel it and everything, sure. I mean, we'd think about it.
Talk to the Historical Society, they may wanna take it and preserve it.
We gotta annex first.
We have to give them the look.
Call the Historical Society, they may wanna, it's because it's a historic, building, they may wanna preserve it and maintain it.
And you know what, if they fix it up, they might find a church or a preacher that would run a whole church in it, and you can do that. I never thought about that, but it's a good idea if it worked.
Can I bring up something
Please do.
Is it
Or
good?
less, or less controversial? Well, maybe not. National Day of Prayer is coming again, and I would like to know if council would, again, like to donate to that.
And how much did we donate?
50.
I would make a motion, we donate $50 to National Day
Second.
of Prayer.
Thank you.
Just make Debbie right now.
Bennett,
Yes.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes,
How do I make that payable to?
Carolyn Gill, yes.
Who is that? Who?
Carolyn Gill.
Oh,
She
okay.
runs the,
National Day of Prayer.
thank you. Appreciate
Anything else?
it. Sure. We would like to have as many people from the village government to attend. as
Is it gonna be at the
possible.
church again?
It's supposed to be at the park,
It's supposed to be at the
unless
park?
there's inclement weather.
There will
But
be.
there will be having special prayer for government officials, safety officials, everybody will be, there'll be a special prayer.
That's a
What
nice
day-
little
what day
ceremony.
is that,
I've enjoyed
Jim?
it. May
It's
2nd.
So, I mean, we've got some time, just getting things.
Well, before it happens, remind us. They'll probably have it 10 o'clock in the morning, I won't be there.
No, it's at 6 at night.
Bailey, if you walk
Oh,
in
that
the
don't
church,
sound-
I'm running out the back, cause it's
Well-
probably gonna be a lightning bolt.
We're praying for sunshine.
Edit that out.
At 6 o'clock PM, 5/2, May
May
2nd,
second.
Yes.
at the park,
At
right?
I'm gonna invite
At
you.
the park.
Lutheran Church to implement weather.
Anybody else got anything? Going once, going twice. Meeting's adjourned.
Georgiana, does Gil belong to the Lutheran Church?
Yes.
Mhm.
So they're gonna